Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit that I haven't started yet. This is a brand new build. I'm excited to get going with all of you. I'm going to throw the Bear Cave Lego the site emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you're not a subscriber, or if you don't want to, you can just reply with other emotes. You can just say hi. You also don't have to say anything at all. You can just chill out. Lastbrick is here. Hello, Lastbrick. Welcome, welcome. Folks, this is the intro portion of the stream if you're new here, where I'm just going to chat with you all. Bobby Dice Roller is here, and I'm going to say the names of some people that say hi or throw emotes in, like Julie Cooley throwing emotes in there. Appreciate it very much. This is the intro. This is to let people be fashionably late to the stream. Of course, people can come and go as they like. No need to be here on the dot at 9 p.m. Eastern. Leave 10:45 to 10:50 when I wrap the stream up and we go raid. You can just come in whenever. Distrusting Spectator says, hey, Pat, hello. Welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here. I'm excited for tonight. This is the Anima Rize. Now, you might think it's Rise because there's a show called Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise. So you might be like, well, it's probably Rise, right? No, it's R-I-Z-E. It's Rize. Rize is from Gundam Build... forget it. Rize, right? I'm going to look this up. I knew this. Yeah, Build Divers Rize is a manga. So this is a manga-only Gundam, which is pretty cool. But yeah, have I read Rize? No. Do I know what Rize's deal is? I kind of do. Rize is an artificial intelligence Gundam pilot. And he uses the Anima as a base, which is the core build, because in Build Divers, a lot of mobile suits are cores that then have planetary systems. You may remember that we built the Uravan Gundam, which was a little tiny core Gundam. It's a little smaller than normal 144 scale, and then it had some armor that flew in. They call it the planetary system because it's the Uranus armor for Uravan. And it kind of comes in on its little thing and then separates and goes in there. Now, Anima doesn't have that. But what Anima does have is one of the things, the reason I got this kit was these smoky clear plastic pieces right here. These pieces right here on the arms and the legs is this clear smoky that's going to have these stickers behind it. These animal themed stickers are going to go behind it. And they look rad as hell. And these clear pieces look rad as hell. Now, what we won't be building tonight is a cool thing that this kit has. But I want to point it out. Another cool thing about this kit, as we wait to see if more folks want to join us. All these clear pieces. You see, we're going to use this clear piece here. We're going to use these pieces up here, which on camera is more of a burnt orange than I'm looking at, but whatever. But most of this here, well, this is from another sheet. This is the Earth Tree Gundam armor, which is another kit. But they, for whatever reason, because we weren't going to use, we're going to use almost none of this. Instead of the colors that come with that kit, they put out the clear version. Now, what does that say? Well, it tells me that I need to get the Earth Tree Gundam, and then I need to build it with some of these clear pieces because these clear pieces look rad. So I'm going to have to get that Gundam. I'm going to have to get that Earth Tree. It's on my wish list. I'll get it myself if I have to. But I'm going to save this because I don't normally save the extra pieces. Because there's some other stuff in here we won't really use. Like, it comes with the planetary system things, like I talked about, the planetary system thing. It doesn't need these things. These things are not necessary for this kit. But that is a thing that happens with when you are buying kits like this. So because it shares a lot of similarities with the core, you're going to get extras. You're going to have a lot of stuff. There's going to be stuff here from the first core. This is the third core, if I remember correctly. But there will be components on here that are not used on this kit at all. Yeah, the Earth Tree's whole deal is to have like a billion or more sets to swap out of, says Lashbrook. Yes, and the Earth Tree comes with stuff like this, one of the kits. It's just, this is clear, and I don't know why they did this. Maybe they thought people would are going to do what I do, which is, well, I guess I'll get another Earth Tree so I can use these clear pieces. But it's not denoted in this. So we got the Gundam, the core Gundam. And then we got the Rize parts. Uh, it is, yeah, there's not a planetary system. They literally just like fly in and attach. I don't know a lot about divers. I don't know a lot about. Oh, we got a host from Harold. Thank you, Harold. Appreciate that. I don't particularly know a lot about fighters, and fighters try, uh, and uh, and yeah, and build divers and build divers re-rise. I don't really know a ton about it. The things I know most about it are I generally know what kit it's based on. Oh, and Harold just that's nice. Harold, it's the beginning of the month. Harold jumps to the top of the leaderboard. Let's give some applause there for the 69 bits. I don't always do the applause thing for bits and coins, but I gotta for 69. Nice. It's 68 days until WrestleMania. But yesterday, during the Royal Rumble, it was 69 days till WrestleMania, which was nice. Um, But yeah, we got a new leaderboard here. So the gift sub leaderboard has been cleared. The bits and coins leaderboard has been cleared, and now Harold's at the top of that. So yeah, something to think about. Not saying you gotta, saying you can. All right, I'm gonna hit retweet on my tweet, and we'll just go here. So getting a little traction on a tweet that hopefully won't bite me in the ass, unrelated to streaming. Just me being political, me opening my big SJW mouth, uh, not being cool. It's a whole thing. Anyway, what are we going to use on this kit? The white pieces, we're going to use gray marker. The red pieces, we're going to use the brown marker. And the gold or yellow, it's gold, it's yellow. You know, we can change that. We're going to use the black marker. Also, like SJW, yeah. Let's just change that to yellow. I wrote gold. It's not gold. It's yellow. Also, it doesn't even matter because there's a couple of that rusty uh, um, orange here, but only like one part of one piece will take any paint or any marker anyway. So I'm not even bothering to put that because I'm just going to use black for that, most likely. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll change it to yellow, black, and then we'll just put that there. Great, we're good. This guide is so helpful to me. I don't know if it's helpful for you, but for me, oh boy, so nice to just be able to quickly glance and go, now what color was I using for that? So helpful. Now what is this? That's my keyboard. Got to push my keyboard out of the way. My build space for y'all isn't that big here before I start getting stuff cut over, but I don't really need a lot of a very large build space to work on model kits of this scale, certainly. So now we're going to build the body. Oh, one other thing about this kit that is rad that I forgot to mention, because I was talking all about how the clear pieces here kick ass and rule. I didn't mention also that there's a regular beam, and then there's a curved beam, which is kind of like a question mark, but also like a whip. It's got a beam whip. It's got a beam whip. I don't know. That's pretty great. There's a lot to love about this kit, including its beam whip. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into building. I mentioned earlier about the Royal Rumble. I watched that last night. Overall, very good Royal Rumble. I did not like how one of the only, I should say, pre-show. One, I did not enjoy it being on the pre-show. And two, did not enjoy the outcome of the women's tag team title match. I do not mind the Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax won. I would prefer it would be a tag team, an actual tag team that exists. But if Charlotte Flair loses, I don't hate that. I do hate the way Charlotte Flair lost, though, because I don't like that she lost because of Lacey Evans and Ric Flair. Just stop putting Ric Flair on things. Just let Ric Flair retire and go home. I just can't anymore. This gray stuff, I might put some black marker on this. I haven't decided yet. I think we're going to see as I start putting it together if it wants marker, but I haven't made that call yet. I mean, it's going to get covered up with a lot of red, which we are certainly going to be putting some stuff on. So I'm undecided at the moment. But yeah, didn't necessarily love how that played out. I would like a tag team that exists and it's two people who work well together. Um, let every old wrestler retire and go home. Yes. Oh, JR certainly, but also Jerry the King Lawler. At the very least, could we not have Jerry the King Lawler uh, talking during a women's match? Or let's say a women's Royal Rumble? Because fucking yikes. I don't want to know what Jerry the King Lawler's idea of heaven is. I can imagine what it is because I have ears. Hey, Lord Crashington. Welcome, welcome. Yes, Suzuki is definitely okay, Lashbrook. Yeah. Um. So my big thing about like tag teams who are tag teams, like there was a tag team match where no one coordinated their outfits. You gotta coordinate, even if it's just the same color, or there's like notes of like, oh well, I'm wearing a little bit of this because your gear is normally like this, so this is my touch to you, and vice versa. Do that. That's all you really. You don't have to do anything like overboard. Just like give me a little bit of like that, like you talked about it at any point. It's frustrating. Otis is dressing like Chad Gable because he's being trained by Gable. Like that's perfect. Otis in a singlet because of that instead of his heavy machinery gear is perfect. Like that's all I'm asking for. Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak when they were like working together, their gear was already very similar because it's pretty basic, but like it still complemented one another. Not asking for a lot. Anyway, my picks to win the women's rumble were either Bianca Belair or Rhea Ripley, and then Bianca Belair eliminated Rhea Ripley and won the whole thing. So fuck yeah, great showing for Rhea. I imagine she will debut on Raw or SmackDown this week. Uh, that is my assumption. That was her graduation. Same possible for Damian Priest, although I could also see Damian Priest sticking around because he was in the men's rumble. Um, I wanted Big E or Daniel Bryan to win the men's rumble. I am less happy with Edge winning than some people I know who are perfectly happy with Edge winning. Um, as part of his comeback story. Uh, it the problem with Edge is it makes me think that like I don't really care about Edge versus Roman because I don't think that proves anything or does anything for Roman other than it being a high profile performer. And Drew and Edge doesn't make sense, so that makes me think they're gonna take the title off Drew and just like I don't know, have Randy win so it can be Randy Edge again. I don't know. Like it doesn't inspire anything in me. Um, and I don't trust WWE to like make it a good story. The weird thing I found out about some of the older wrestlers is that they're fans of the Cleveland Browns despite not being from the area, which is because those that worked in the Memphis area and then mostly showed Browns games there over other teams. Okay, so Jerry Lawler and a number of others are some of those fans because they just were in the Memphis area enough that they became like, yeah, fans of it through like osmosis. Okay, that is weird. Yeah, that's a weird team to be like. These are my guys. I'm not from here. No, I just adopted them. But you do what you got to do. When you want to be, having a sports team. Um, let's see. I think the decision to have Drew beat Goldberg in fairly clean, easy fashion was great. Because I did not want to see Goldberg winning and then Goldberg putting over Drew. I thought was good at the end. Uh, show mutual respect, sure, whatever, because it didn't make any sense anyway. Storyline never made any sense. And then I hope Kevin Owens is okay because Kevin Owens definitely hurt his fucking self. And then I will just say in a public forum, which is what this is. Hey, guess what, folks? This is a public forum. I guess I don't know. Um, I will just say, in my opinion, while we did see a golf cart. Sammy Guevara get hit by a golf cart in AEW. Golf. That's not the first time there's been a golf cart in wrestling, and also it was in WWE before that. So it's not like I was like, no, that's not stealing, folks. Just those are just people who want to be mad about things, being mad about things. There are other things to be mad about other than if one company stole a thing from another when they definitely didn't. In this instance, there's certainly theft out there for gimmicks, but that's not one of them. It's literally fine. All right, so I'm gonna put some paint on this. I'm gonna put some black on this gray because I think that'll look good. But I'm not convinced it needs it, especially because it's gonna be covered up with armor. But whatever. This is all just practicing, so I get better at doing this when I'm putting some paint on some stuff. So we'll do that there. We'll see how it looks. Obviously, I'm going to layer things over this anyway, but why not? Just get better at it. Get better at getting these lines the way I want them to. You know, it makes it stand out a little bit. Sure. Fine, fine, fine. Yeah, I think the Women's Rumble was fantastic. Loved the Legends coming back for that because they weren't showcased for super long. They just came in, did their thing, and then moved on. And I thought that was the right way to go. And then Men's Rumble, like I said, supposed to just like Edge. Okay. When it wasn't going to be Big E, I was bummed. When it wasn't going to be Shinsuke, I was not surprised because that didn't actually feel like they were. It felt like, honestly, it felt like they were testing out face Shinsuke to have Shinsuke be a short-term feud or a possible feud with Roman, but not an actual feud with Roman. It was my thought because it didn't feel like that was necessarily something they were going to go all in on. And then I wanted to be Daniel Bryan. I mean, my heart wanted Big E, but my head said, well, it's going to be Daniel Bryan. And it felt like that would make sense because there's every indication this is going to be his last full year. So give him that Rumble win, give him that main event at WrestleMania. And the real main event. Him against Roman? Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I mean, Roman is a heel that can bully. Have him bully him. Like, to me, that's a no-brainer. There's money in that story. All right, so what am I doing wrong with these pieces? Why don't they want to do what I want them to do? I saw some of the facts about the Rumble, and this was Big E's seventh Rumble, and he had the first one where he got an elimination. What is this BS? Yeah. So Big E does a lot of like helping people, and he did it in this match too. He did a lot of like helping people out and getting revenge, but Big E has not done super well. He's done a lot of get eliminated and like catch somebody. Uh, yeah. So a thing about Big E that is weird is that while he is a big man, he often he often is not considered a big man. And because there is a difference between being a big man and a big man. Uh, we did get some big men slapping meat, which I'm always in favor of. But yeah, he's just not. People are like sometimes surprised when he's so strong, and I was like, "What? I don't know what you're doing." One of the things I really liked about this year's Rumble was because there was no audience, other than the screens. Um, they don't have to worry about doing it for people in the crowd, and they can like do some storytelling you otherwise wouldn't be able to do. That I'm super into the very concept of, like they got to like there were multiple moments where you had Bianca Belair like talking and like the kind of like couple truces that happened like well, not telegraphed. They were set up in a really fun, interesting way, and you don't have to worry about like people not being able to understand what's happening by looking at it from a distance because they don't get to hear the announcers because there aren't people in the crowd. And I thought that was they took advantage of that really well. I thought it was really smart storytelling. All right, so now we got to put this piece on here. yeah, I think we'll just use black for this orange here. And I'm just gonna put one line there, which we probably won't even see, and it'll be very unlikely we'll see that. But I put a little bit of juice in there. Let's see. It's February. I hope you're all enjoying your February so far. One day in the month. Later, I'll of course talk about ways you can support the channel in like a half an hour or so. I will talk about my Patreon, and if you've been like thinking about doing the old Patreon and you haven't yet, now is the best time to do that because it's the beginning of the month, so you get the full month experience. Because I did have some people decide that January was their last month of being a patron, which is a shame. I understand it. I wish things were different, but it's rough out there, and maybe it wasn't everything you wanted from it. So it's like, okay, well, hopefully you'll like it. Hopefully you liked it. Um, Snowy end of January and start of February. Can't wait to watch Groundhog Day tomorrow. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Pat, what did you think of the real headline of Royal Rumble? Bad Bunny featuring G.I. Bro. I mean, look, I like G.I. Bro. I think that's a good nonsense thing. Um, was that look? This was a musical performance not done in English on a WWE programming. That feels big to me. I know who Bad Bunny is. I'm not going to say that I'm like not aware of Bad Bunny. It's not. So I thought that was fun. Um, I like that this dude was like, I'm going to write a rap song about Booker T, and then I'm going to get Booker T to be in the music video, and then I'm going to be on WWE programming rapping, and then I'm going to somehow weirdly get involved in a match, and for Damian Priest is going to be like, yeah, do it. I don't know why. I don't know why Damian got involved the way he did, but I thought that was very funny. Mr. Bob just subscribed to Tier 1. That's 41 months. Let's hit the applause there. Let's throw the Bear Cave logo, the cycle in the chat. Thank you very much, Mr. Bob. Always appreciate it, my friend. Thank you very, very much. Hope you're doing well. And Lord Crashington wants me to hit that gong. Well, I will. I'm going to hit that gong. Yeah, my hope is for everybody that's been snowed in that you're all staying warm and doing your thing. I did tweet about missing snow. I miss the concept of snow. I miss the particulars of my snow exposure, which was when I wouldn't have to deal with it that much because I was living in an apartment and my landlord shoveled. And so sometimes late at night I would come home and just do a little bit of shoveling to help out because I'm nice, but also to make my life easier the next day. And that was basically, it. Oh, yeah. There we go. Red pieces. I love this red. This red is so lovely looking. It's different. We got two different reds here. We got this. It's not maroon. It's like cherry red. And then we got this like fire red. I don't know. They're different reds, and I really enjoy both of them. Very psyched about these colors. For the red, we will be using black. We're going to be doing a lot of black on this kit. I saw somebody. There is a YouTuber that I like that does reviews of kits, and I use him a lot for how to pronounce the name of a kit that's from a show I haven't watched. But he was using brown for the yellow, and I thought that looked bad, so I'm not doing that. I saw him using that, and I was like, that doesn't look right to me. So we'll go and we'll do a little bit of panel lining here with the black. But yeah, I thought Bad Bunny was fine. I didn't really need Bad Bunny to go and do a wrestling move, but like whatever. I do like the idea of, hey, I do genuinely love the idea of, even if he is his age, that The Miz and Morrison are both scared of Booker T. I think that is a fun bit of business, and I appreciated that bit of biz. I thought that was fine. But yeah, overall, I was like, okay, Bad Bunny, sure. Sure. Fine. Some people, I'm sure, fucking love that shit, so enjoy it. If I don't hate a musical performance, that to me feels like a win, because often I fucking hate the music performances that happen at uh, at WWE pay-per-views. What was I gonna say? Yeah, overall, I thought it was a good pay-per-view. I'm glad I got the network again for it. I also watched the Pat Patterson special that has been updated since his passing, so that was very nice to see. I watched the Yokozuna thing that debuted last night, the Icons documentary about Yokozuna, which I thought was great. I wanted a little bit more of his life outside of wrestling, and a little less of just like, you know, I mean, his life started with wrestling young. He was trained young, but I would have liked a little bit more about the man and less about like his impact in the ring, because I know what that is. I'm well aware of what that was. So, but overall, I did think it was a good documentary. So, happy to watch that. Yeah, I have the network for a month. I don't know if I'm gonna. I'm probably gonna cancel it again. Because I already have Peacock, so I'll probably cancel the network again because I don't need it, and then it'll roll over to Peacock anyway. Um, but yeah, all right. So we'll put that there. A little bit of panel line, just kind of spruce it up. It's all going to cover it up anyway. And then when these pieces connect, we're just going to do this right here. Ooh, that's going to look good. Really like this maroon color. I put out my schedule online, folks, so you can see it's here on the. If you go to the twitch.tv/PatBear page, you can see that. Or it's my pinned tweet on Twitter. Or if you're a patron, I sent a message today, which I always do the first day of every month with my schedule, where I have talked about this Wednesday playing Hearthstone. Haven't played Hearthstone on stream since the mini set came out. I got one new deck, and I'm building another new deck because I got a legendary. I got the new Nazoth, so I kind of want to build a warrior menagerie deck because I have Nazoth, and I think I'm pretty sure I have a warrior card that works well with the menagerie. So I'm going to try to put together a menagerie deck because I haven't really played that archetype. Menagerie just means I'm going to be playing something like beast, mech, pirate, Murloc, like something like a bunch of different things, and then you have cards that will pull a pirate and a Murloc and a dragon out of your deck, like that kind of thing. So I'm going to be playing around with that because that seems like a cool archetype that I would like to get a little more experience with. So I'm going to be doing that, and then next Wednesday. On Saturday, I couldn't think of a name for it. It's my cooking stream, and I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to call it. I have decided that I will be calling it the Prepare with Baer Workshop. So I hope you'll come to the Prepare with Baer Workshop, where I'll be preparing 2 dishes, which I will announce that Wednesday what those dishes are. But yeah, the Prepare with Baer Workshop will be Wednesday, February 10th, 9 p.m. Eastern. It will be my first ever cooking stream. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be working on 2 recipes, a entree and a appetizer slash snack, and I think it'll be fun. I'm probably going to skip the Hearthstone stream. I'm just down on anything Activision Blizzard. Fuck those guys. Harold, I totally understand. As always, folks, everybody draws their line and figures stuff out. Me, I don't put any money into. I have not put money into Hearthstone in a very long time. But I also understand if you're just not into it and you're not support, that's totally fine. And that goes for anything that I do on these streams. Totally understand that, Harold. Totally get it. But yeah, I haven't pumped any money into it. But you know, by streaming, I am advertising the product. I'm aware of that. Hearthstone also is kind of one of the few things that I have that is a stress reliever for me because it is an enjoyable experience. So, although it can be a stressful one, especially on stream. But yeah, no problem, Harold. I am excited to do that cooking stream because it will be just something different. I'm excited about doing something a little outside my comfort zone. Also, it'll be a stream where I'm standing. So that'll be weird. I'm going to have to put on some comfy shoes because I'll be standing for the duration of the stream. And that feels weird to me. The very concept feels odd. All right, we'll put a little bit of paint on this. We don't really need a lot. Just a little something something here. This is sticking out here. This is going to be the holder for our beam saber. And this is where it goes on the back. Lives on the back of this kit here. And can move around. And that beam saber is E6. Which is this. So yeah, the beam saber holder here. It's got a pretty unique design, which is in that. But yeah, I am excited to do something a little different, which will be cooking on the 10th. You know, it's just like something I've been wanting to do for a while. And I hope you will come and join me for that. And of course, all my regular build streams. I've got my backlog right now is the Strike, Noir, the Kyrios from, I forget, Double O, I want to say, and the Aegis Knight, which is a Knight-themed kit, which you know I am into. And those are the kits that I have on my backlog. It's not many, not a lot. I will be picking up more kits. Once my PayPal or my Patreon payment goes through, I will use that money to get some more kits that are needed for streaming and things. So don't worry, I'll be doing that. Picking up a few things. I'd like to get a Lego set. You know, this is by using the funds. I haven't done Lego in a hot minute, and I would like to get a Lego set going. So I will most likely be picking up something from the world of Lego. Maybe I'll get those brickheads of the Mandalorian and Child. That might be neat to do. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Relax. Told you I don't know. But, yeah, I'd like to do some Legos. Because I did that Miles Morales mech armor, and that was very cool, but it was also, like, very short. You could have missed it if you had been late to a stream. All right, so that goes back there. Yeah, I wasn't going to put brown on this. I really think the black is the way to go for the yellow. Really does. Maybe it's overkill, but whatever. That's fine. All right, so put that there. That is the chest. This is our chest. So that is the thing about doing these cores kits, is that they are smaller because when you put the armor on, they look like a traditional 1/4 scale mobile suit. So the core itself, the armor has to go on top of, is a little smaller. And we're going to get our first sticker coming up. So we'll get a piece of white out here for the face. And it's an easy. I'm going to take 12 out here because we're going to need that in a minute anyway. And we will do brown on the white pieces here. Put that aside. I'm going to do this here. And we're just going to hit this with marker. Yeah, does anybody have any snow where they're at? And anybody dealing with anything like that? It's just cold here. It's been cold and damp. And, like, that's fine. Just not my, personally my favorite. But it's not unseasonably cold, but it's a little colder than I was expecting, even for February. But, yeah, no sign of, no expectation of snow here in the old South Carolina. So, not expecting that. But who knows? We could get it. It could happen. No, it's not going to happen. But, yeah, let me know how the weather is for all y'all. 11, 12, 7, 8, 7. Where's 14? Oh, is this 14 over here? 14 is over here. Got it. Added components. Nope. Almost 80 Saturday. Wow. So that's great, Lashbrook. Enjoy 80-degree weather. I started watching Lupin the Third Part 5. I'm enjoying it so far. All I've seen is the old movie previously. What's your opinion on the series? Lots of rain here in the Bay Area. Okay, yeah, enjoy your rain. Not surprising. Uh, um, so, Lupin. I've watched a lot of the movies from Lupin. I'm not as familiar with it as other things. I think that they are very cool capers, and the style is rad. Uh, Last Resistance definitely did not. Yeah. Um, uh, yeah, I think the style is fucking awesome in Lupin, but I'm not as familiar with it as I am some other shows out there. Um, but I don't have anything against Lupin. I'm just like not super well knowledgeable about it. I try to be a little at least culturally aware of the shows that have a tremendous amount of love across the world, but sometimes I don't really know everything about them. All right, so we got to put the best worst part of this is the eyes. Every high grade is my least favorite part of the kit is applying the eyes. That 70s style is quite charming. Totally. 100%. Also, I love the idea that Scooby Doo is our Lupin the Third. That the Adventures of Scooby Doo, which came out like a year after Lupin was an anime, so the manga was before that. Love the idea that it's just our Lupin. That is so silly and very funny to think about. Like to try to compare the characters. All right. So eyes stickers always a rough thing where you're just like, I think this is right. This looks okay. Once I put the top armor on, this will move around and I'll be disappointed. But right now, this looks great. But eye stickers are so important for a high grade. They really bring out a lot in the kit. They do a lot of work. So even though they're small, they're still worth it. But yeah, old 70s, 80s, like early 80s anime. I've tried to watch the big ones and be caught up with them and be able to, speak on them. But, there's some stuff I just missed out on, or it just didn't appeal to me. Uh, just like anything else. So people say, like, oh, you don't know about this thing? And it's like, why would they? Uh, Somebody I am familiar with on the internet, I won't name them because it's not their business to be on my stream. Um, but we were chatting, and she was somewhat incredulous and somewhat, facetious, I say, and somewhat like totally just like saying what was on her mind. She goes, "How was I supposed to know that Kate McKinnon is gay?" Which is very funny to me as somebody that knows her. And it was like, well, you could just talk to her. But I also understand Kate McKinnon is on television. It's not that people have different situations than I did where I just knew her as a person. But I was like, so you weren't watching the big gay sketch show in 2007 when she was on a show that was all just gay people? and, and this girl replies, no, I was watching Phineas and Ferb and in grade school. And I was like, yeah, all right, sure. Yeah, there you go. No fault. You don't have to you don't have to have been watching the Big Gay Sketch Show live. Also, not a lot of people watch the Big Gay Sketch Show, but look for it. It's fucking funny. Rosie O'Donnell is the executive producer and creator of it. There were some really fucking very talented queer folks in New York on that show. It was very good, including Kate McKinnon. All right, so I don't want to do the back or the front or the back of this because I'm going to put a sticker on it, but I can do some of the lines around here. You get no judgment free, Pat. You know far more anime than I do. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, that is a thing that I try to be aware of when I am talking about things that I am passionate about is remembering that that is my passion, not necessarily common knowledge. And sometimes, you start explaining a thing and people are like, yeah, I know what that is. What are you doing? You don't have to worry about this. And you're like, oh, okay. But sometimes you say a thing and people are like, I do not know what you're talking about. I have no context for this thing. And it's like, oh, yeah. Well, you don't necessarily need to, but let's talk about it. You just kind of give people benefit of the doubt, but also be okay with them not knowing everything. They don't need to know every detail. It's fine. It's all right. It's okay. It's cool. The one thing I will say is, let's all be cool about this. In the year 2021, let's endeavor to stop with the idea. And I'm not talking about individual people. I'm talking about the world here. Let's all do this if we can. Let's stop saying, without irony, why didn't anyone tell me about this? And instead, let's start, if you learn about a new thing, a thing you're passionate about, psyched about, a new thing, just start looking for who else was talking about that. Like, do your own research on it. Because there are people who unironically say that. And it's just like, what, it's like, well, because this is a thing that other people were talking about and you don't know them. You got to do the work. You got to broaden your ideals out there, right? Like if I find out about a show, I'm not going to be like, how come no one told me about this show? It's because they didn't know about it. Because now I get to be the person that goes, hey, I found out about this thing recently, and I'm doing a lot of research about it, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit because now I've done some of the research. Here's other people you can follow because they are more knowledgeable about this than me. Be that a genre of music or a style of movie or anything like that. And then on the flip side, if someone is excited about a thing, we could say, "Oh, I'm so happy you're finding out about this," or "Hey, if you ever want to know more about this, I can point you to some YouTube channels or to a playlist or something like that." Instead of, "You didn't know about this thing?" Like, we're not going to be judging people for getting on board, right? Like, if it's a thing you knew about for a long time, it's fine. That's why I made Pat Bear's Anime Club the live panel show. Pat Bear's Anime Club is because it is me doing the thing where I'm like, don't say like, how come no one told me about this thing? Because I've been yelling about it. Instead of just being annoyed at the person who is suddenly into the thing that I've been cheerleading for a very long time, I just made a show where I can do that at a large audience instead of at individual people. Because that does my heart and soul a lot better to just be like, here's a thing I like. I'm talking about it right now. If you want to talk about it with me, that's great. Instead of being like, someone just being like, how come no one told me about New Game? I'm watching this anime New Game. It's adorable. How come no one told me about it? I'm like, I was telling you about it. Like, I don't need that energy in my life. I don't need to be incorporating that or projecting that. So instead, I can just be like, oh yeah. So with somebody just being like, yeah, has anyone watched Sk8 Network? He like does these, or sorry, pardon me, they do these like incredibly great covers of songs in like a pop punk style or like a reggae punk style or reggae ska style, and you're like, and so instead of just being like, I fucking been sharing links from Sk8 Network all the time, what the fuck? Instead, you can just be like, hell yeah! Have you heard this one? Have you heard this cover? This one's my favorite. The All I Want for Christmas Is You cover is so fun. I really like it. Like you just be like, if people are just getting on board with something, it's pretty cool to just be like encouraging them about them getting on board instead of, being incredulous that they didn't know about the thing that you like. I don't know. That's I wasn't planning on getting on a fucking soapbox tonight, but I did. So I legitimately am sorry. I was supposed to say sorry, not sorry. I am sorry that I got on a fucking soapbox, but there we go. So one thing about the head of this, because this is the core, and we're going to be putting all this armor on top of it. One of the issues that you'll have with this is this doesn't look that cool. Like, I still like it, but it doesn't look like as cool. You make a good argument, though. Well, I appreciate that. Because we haven't put, like, the armor on top of it. So the core units are a little bland. Because you can see in the photo, this thing's going to look pretty wild. But right now, it's looking a little mild. I will not apologize for that, because I knew it was coming, and I am totally all right with that. 26, 27, and 28. Put this together there. But yeah, just like we're all mindful, we're all trying to do our thing. Let's just be mindful and supportive of each other. An example I will give that is a nonsense example, but it doesn't mean much, is friend of the stream, Abby Russell, tweeted, I won't do stand-up unless I get one of those mics that comes down from the ceiling, like in boxing rings, which is a very fun tweet and a very funny visual. Like, Abby's like, oh, Pooh, welcome to the stage, Abby Russell. And Abby comes out, and then just like a mic comes down, and then Abby picks it up and talks. That's very funny. Um, I think that is hilarious. So do I say, okay. Do I say, oh, well, what do you not, do you not know about Mr. Kennedy, the WWE wrestler from the mid-2000s, who his gimmick was that a mic came down from the ceiling and then he said his own name? Why would Abby Russell know who Mr. Kennedy is? You watching this now probably don't. Some of you do, but many of you, also he was Mr. Anderson later, but in another wrestling organization. But yeah, why would I say that? Instead, I just sent her, I said, as always, there's a wrestling gif for that, which it is. There's a wrestling gif of Mr. Kennedy, literally the lights go in a spotlight and it coming down from the ceiling so they can talk into it. Because that's just like me, it's like there's no reason for me to be like annoyed that she didn't know about this pop culture thing that I know about. Like, why the fuck would I be like that? It's just like, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to be like that. When people will say, I didn't know about this thing, or I don't know who this is, or I've never heard of that person. It's like, okay, all right. Do you want to know about them? Because I will give information if I have that available. And if you don't want to know about them, that's also cool, because it's fine. Because it's fine. Especially when I'm passionate about something. That's when I really have to, like, check in with myself and be like, okay. Well, okay. Thank you for hosting the stream, Xenogears666. Appreciate that very much. Thank you very much, Xeno. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the host. That is helpful. All right, so we got to make sure we're putting this on the right way. And that's this way. Great. Just getting our waist together. As I said, these core things come together pretty easy. And while this piece is on, we'll do a little panel lining here. Doing the very quick and dirty method, where I'm just hitting it very quickly with the marker and then hitting it over. Some people use their fingers. Some people use Q-tips, or they will use a tissue. I like using this high polymer eraser because you can clean it up by just cutting off the excess. So I'll just, cut away with that with the X-Acto knife. And it just makes things really easy to maintain and get down there. Great. So put that there. And now we will got to put a cap on it. Yeah, so we will take a pause for the cause in a little bit. I'll talk about ways you can support the channel. I got some anime to talk about. I watched a show that is not normally, it's not a Sunday or Monday anime, but it is a show that I would like to, that I heard some mixed things about and felt like I should investigate. So actually, yes, Xenogears, I did thank you for the hosting. I appreciate you hosting the stream. So I did give you a shout out, and thank you very much. Always appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. All right, then we need A3, which is A3 is our little bit of orange. Orange is an accent color. I think with these two reds is weird. Um, but I do like it. I think that these are striking colors, so I am a fan of it, even though they're. Yo says we were supposed to raid, but it didn't work. Oh, that's a shame. Um, but yeah, thank you for hosting. I do appreciate it. Um, I know that sometimes if you don't have that many people, it doesn't show up in the overlay or show up in the stream chat. There's like a minimum for that to show up, and I believe that is, uh, yeah, I believe that is the case. I don't remember exactly what the deal is there, but all right. So we don't have much to do here with color. Zeno says, "I'll ask that you pay attention to your Discord tomorrow. I'm gonna post a picture of all my builds." Oh, rad! That's awesome. Well, thank you. I will certainly. I mean, I check in on my Discord usually a couple times a day just to see where people are at, or if I have things to post, or like I got videos and stuff like that. So I always try to do that. Um, but yeah, I will definitely keep an eye out, and I appreciate that. I'll mention that in a little bit when we do our pause to the cause. I will talk about ways to support the channel and include my Discord, which is free, and that is a way to support what I do. But it's also a lovely, nice little community of folks. All right, so there's that. That is basically the waste because we are going to add stuff onto this. But as of right now, I believe that is, yes, that is the end of the waste. And then we can just start putting stuff together, but why not do it as we go instead of waiting at the end? Yeah. There's the waste. Like that. Yep. Okay. So that is our progress so far. Having the waist piece here be red along with the head is nice because it adds some symmetry to it. But yeah, there we are right now. And now we're moving on to the arms. Good night. Thanks for being here, Harold. Talk to you soon, my friend. And once again, thank you for the bits at the top of the stream. All right, so these arms and legs are completely symmetrical, with the exception of the, yeah, the no, yeah, no. These are symmetrical. They're just you put them there, you put them there. The legs are a little bit different, but yeah, these are pretty easy. As always, as I said, not always, but as I said, with it being a core, these are smaller. But yeah, we get to do all this all at the same time. We'll get it started. We'll take our pause in a moment or two. We'll talk about that. But yeah, I have a show that I was thinking about watching, an anime I hadn't watched before. So I watched the first episode. Right now I think I believe it's 4 episodes in. I don't know if I'm going to get caught up or if it's like I'm just going to watch it at my leisure because I don't know if I'm going to watch it week to week. But I definitely am going to give it a second episode because I did enjoy the first one. Spoilers for what I'm going to talk about. I did enjoy that show, and then I watched the show that I just hate watch because it's whatever. And so I kind of enjoy hate watching it because it is garbage. So that's fun. And what else? Uh, oh yeah, and then like 2 shows I watched that I'm into. Although we'll get to it. One of the shows I watched this week, I might stop watching if it goes the way I think it might, because it's leading down a path I don't enjoy. They might be doing one of the worst tropes, in my opinion, in anime. Or media in general, but also anime, which I'm frustrated by. So hopefully it's not actually the case, but it's looking like it might be. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll get the parts of the shoulder done here, and then we'll get a little panel lining in. Won't need much panel lining on it, but we'll get a little bit going. All right, we'll get one shoulder done, and then we'll do the other, and then we'll take our pause once these shoulders have been completed. Normally I do polls, my $10 patrons, about what I build next, but the Kyrios won the December poll that I put up for all patrons and my subscribers in December, and it's February now, and I haven't built that yet, so I bought that kit because it won the poll of like, hey, what kit should I spend my Amazon gift cards on? I've got some money. What would you like to see me get? And like, it won the poll, and I got it, and then I have not built it yet. So I would like to just do that. I'm just going to do that, and then my $10 patrons can vote on the next kit I do after that, because they voted on this one for me to build this. But yeah, I just want to build it, so we're gonna build it. I'm excited to work on it. The Curios. Curios is a lovely looking kit. It's rad. I'll show you the photo right here. Cool orange, really fun shield that is also a weapon. But yeah, I love this orange. We got a little hint of it in this kit, but that is just a fantastic kit. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Also, I love building a modern master grade. They're few and far between. There are a lot of real grades out there, lots and lots of high grades, not as many new master grades. I really like doing them. So having the ability to do a master grade, I'm really looking forward to that. Like a modern master grade. It came out either in 2019 or 2020. I want to say it came out in 2020. It might have been a 2019 kit. But either way, that is a very modern kit. And so I am really looking forward to it. All right, so we're going to need C next. So we'll do that. But first, a pause for the cause. Going to go to this one. If you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat if you're a Tier 2 friend. Got a couple Tier 2s out there maybe tonight. Let the people know these are the emotes. If you're new to the stream, what's happening right now is I'm just going to talk about ways you can support the channel. You are under no obligation to do so, but if you would like to, I would love it. Becoming a subscriber is an easy way to support what I do. Hey, there's Aristofan. Hi, Aristofan. You can use your Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch, you get the token. You can use that on somebody. And if you're not using it for me, please use it for someone. You can also gift a sub. We have nobody at our gift leaderboard because it's the first day of the month. So if you'd like to gift somebody in the community, you can gift a sub. That is a great way to support myself and also allow someone to have some cool emotes and not see ads during the stream, which is great. So that is a way to support what I do here. I mentioned it at the top of the stream. I have an Amazon wish list. So if you want to join my Amazon wish list, I'm going to put I'll talk about that in a moment. I'm not even going to say about that yet. Sorry, I jumped the gun. I have a Patreon. That's what I want to say right now. I got a Patreon. Patreon.com/PatBear. If you wanted to join my Patreon, today's the best day to do it because I just put out my schedule and I post throughout the month. There's a $1 tier, a $3 tier, a $5 tier, and a $10 tier. And when you join, you get the benefit of the whole month. And there are different rewards for each tier, everything from being able to vote on the kits that I built to once a month being able to vote on what I do on one of my bonus streams. The 17th will be leading up to the 17th, you'll be able to vote on that. To $1 a month, you get a Q&A video and you get a couple messages a month from me about my schedule. But it's mostly just hey, here's $1 a month. And those add up, and I really appreciate it. But those are not things you have to do. Those are things you can do. Also, one-time donations, because everything I make through PayPal and Twitch goes to buying model kits and equipment. It all feeds back into buying kits so that I can keep building kits on stream, so I can do 6 hours of model kit building a week, plus 2 hours of other things. You can do direct donations if you want to do it one time. If you don't want to be reoccurring, you don't want to gift the sub, you don't want to become a subscriber, you don't want to join my Patreon. One-time donation, you can do that. And if you do the Streamlabs one, it shows up in the overlay, which is fun. I get a notification. But those are things you can do. Again, don't have to. As I said, accidentally, I have an Amazon wish list. I buy a lot of stuff from Amazon because it ships me and it's just easier to get. And if you wanted to buy something on the wish list, I said I want to build the Curios next. Well, I won't build the Curios next if you buy something on the wish list and it comes in the mail. That'll be the next thing I build. You jump the queue. So I've got some nano blocks, which are kind of Lego, but they have the Pokemon license, and I'd like to try that. I have some Lego. I have some Pokemon model kits. Another Haropla, the Haropla Loader, which is just a cool looking Haro. Some high grades, some master grades, inexpensive kits, expensive kits, one thing of paper craft in there, some tools at the bottom, and I'm constantly updating my list. I just today I added the a couple things. I added the I forget what I added. Sorry, I don't remember. I added the Earth Tree, which has the pieces of this kit. You could replace some pieces on that with the white, the clear pieces. And I also put in pretty recently the Mandalorian and Child um, uh, uh, brickheads, Lego brickheads, because it just looked cute. And I was like, I'll build those. But yeah, you buy something on the list, it jumps the queue, I build it on stream. That's how that works. We will get back to building it very shortly. I apologize for doing my ad break, but I only do it once per stream. An alternative, if you don't want to buy from Amazon, I totally respect that and understand that. You could buy a gift card from USA Gundam Store. You buy a gift card at USA Gundam Store, you get that code, you send me a DM on Twitter or a whisper here on Twitch with the code because it comes to your email, and then I use that money to buy something. That's the thing you can do. Let's see. Get that. Discord. I mentioned it before. Also I mentioned Casino. Mentioned it. I have a Discord. You can join that. That's free. If you want to support me for free, join my Discord. I post photos of everything I work on. People post photos of things they're doing. It's very light. It's a very chill Discord. So you're welcome to join that. A couple videos. I got a new video up, Pat Bear's Anime Club, new episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club. This one was last Wednesday's live stream. My bonus stream was recording this in front of an audience, and it was my winter 2021 preview, looking at all the shows I'm watching, the shows I chose not to watch, and the shows that I started watching and then gave up on. So it's pretty comprehensive. It's like an hour and a half of me talking about all the shows that I'm checking out, because there's a lot of stuff out this season. I'm not watching all of it, but I'm watching quite a bit of it. So talk about those. And then if you missed it, Baer With Me is a video series where I rank things. No, sorry. That's my old series. Wow, I said that without thinking about it. I haven't done my ranking since December. Wow, that just came out because I had said it for like 52 weeks straight. Damn. Okay. Rewind that a little bit. Baer With Me is a series where I watch videos for the first time and give my reactions to them. They're reaction videos. And this one is answering the question, does this door actually sound like Miles Davis? I think you'll be happy to watch my genuine reaction to that. My new one coming out this Wednesday was based on audience suggestion. So please put those in the comments if you have somebody or something you think I should watch and react to. But yeah, that's been a lot of fun to do that. All right, we're gonna talk about some anime. I'm gonna drink a little water right now because it's time for some water. Meatloaf tonight, homemade meatloaf tonight. Really, really good, but also like definitely sitting in my stomach. Very heavy. Big diced up bacon on top. Mwah, excellente. That was real, real good. All right, so on Saturday, I forgot to go back to the overhead image for like 10 minutes, and I feel bad about that. So now I'm making sure that I'm ready. But yeah, let's start by talking about Sk8. I'm not going to give a beat for beat. Sorry, Sk8 the Infinity. And for folks that are not looking at chat, that maybe you're watching this later on YouTube, what's up, YouTube? Hello. I'm going to tell you that it's spelled SK, the number 8, the Infinity. And the logo is SK and the Infinity symbol. Which is a pretty okay logo. So this show, I think I'm going to keep watching it. Like, what's up? Why did I like this? I don't know. So the world of S is this competitive skateboarding, this downhill skateboarding at an abandoned mine site that's also maybe a nightclub, and there's a mysterious shirtless owner. All of the characters are incredibly over the top, like you would expect. Like, there's a guy, like, people have code names. Like the guy who owns the calligraphy store or whatever is also a racer. And there's a guy named Shadow who is trying to be the anti-hero of the league, and just like it's a lot of fucking nonsense that's great. We've got our two main characters, our two heroes. Um, Reki is kind of like playful. He wants to be really great. He also wants to make an incredible board, his own skateboards. But yeah, he's a good dude. He's trying his best. Um, None of his friends are into skateboarding. Like he has school friends, but none of them are into it. So he's like wishes that he could like talk about it. He works at a skate shop with a dude. Also, the owner of the skate shop he works at has a little. I think it's a dog, but it looks like a fox. But maybe it's a fox. I don't know. There's a little fox running around that's cute. It's orange. It definitely looks like a fox, but I don't know. I don't think it. I don't know what's up, but there is a fox dog in this show. So if that's enough for you. Anyway, there's also Lenga. Lenga is half Japanese, and he is now living with his mom, who is Japanese. And so he did not grow up in Japan, and he kind of accidentally becomes friends with Reki. Um, and they talk about skateboarding, and he's maybe going to learn skateboarding. Well, a thing we didn't recognize until through circumstance, Langa ends up having to race, and he is not comfortable on a skateboard. So he's like, tape my legs to the skateboard. And they're like, what? He's like, tape my legs to the skateboard. Because, which we didn't know, is Langa is incredible at snowboarding. So he's like, it's not the same, but it's kind of the same. Like there are similarities, and especially with like downhill skateboard racing. It's not like the flat is going to be the same, but in the racing element, it's similar. So it turns out he's a natural when it comes to uh, S. I do also want to say that when characters have a problem with one another, they have beefs, and they call them beefs. And also, all of the people in this show are beautiful gentlemen, with the exception of Shadow, who is not a beautiful gentleman. And so I'm starting to understand why I kept hearing bits and pieces of parts of the different communities that I run in being like, I kind of like Sk8 the Infinity. And people being like, yeah, I'm watching Sk8 the Infinity. And I was like, that just sounds so terrible. Uh, am I going to be am I going to get caught up and marathon through it so that I'm caught up for the next episode? I don't think so. Am I going to watch the second episode? Yeah. I'm going to give episode 2 a shot. Oh, also the animation, the skating animation, you would hope that the skating animation would be good, but we're going to talk about another show that you would hope would be good, and it's not. So it is. The skate animation looks really fluid, and clearly some people, I can't say for sure that they're knowledgeable about it, but they certainly um, spent some time like making sure they're getting it right. Like it's very clear that uh, that care was paid, which hell yeah, you gotta take some care with it. So I almost put this together wrong, folks. I caught myself. That's a pro tip as we go into we model kit as I'm talking about anime here. Um, Before you start putting on extra pieces and building up the arms, make sure it's bending the right way. So this is going to want to bend like this, like that. But it wasn't because I had put it on wrong. So now I know, and both these are right, which is great because that is what I'm supposed to be doing. So now I have done that. All right, now we can put some other parts around it. I'm going to jump back to Jobless Reincarnation. I'm just going to get through X-Arm real quick because I don't have a lot to say about X-Arm. X-Arm is starting to be less fun to watch. If you haven't been keeping up with X-Arm, it is the comedy event of the year, unintentionally. It is not supposed to be a comedy. It is supposed to be a cyberpunk future dystopia thing. Oh, thank you so much. Kirby just subscribed with Twitch Prime. Let's hit the applause. Let's throw the Barricade Lego the second on the chat. Thank you very much, Kirby, for that. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. I'm talking about some anime while I build this cool little model kit, which is based on a manga of all things. It's a side series manga for Gundam Build Divers. This is Gundam Build Divers Rize. Uh, and okay, so X-Arm is based on a manga, the show, and it is terrible. I don't know if the source material is good. This adaptation is bad. The mix of 2D and 3D is awful because often your 3D CGI stuff is going to be, you don't need to do that. Keep on being you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But I always like to thank people when they subscribe. Give them a little shout outs if I can. Um, so this show. Uh, Normally when I complain about CG, it's like this anime, everything is done in digital, and then they made the monsters in the CG because it was outsourced and way cheaper. Um, and I don't love that, but I understand why that happens. This show, the main characters are all CGI, and some of the minor characters are digital. And that doesn't fucking work. That looks terrible. It is awful. I feel very bad for the good voice actors who got hired, and some of them had to do their own mocap, and because it looks like they were just like, okay, we got this scene done in mocap, let's move on. I will say that in a positive note, this episode had a giant mech fighting an exoframe, and that looked cool because they were both CGI completely, and they were not based on motion capture of real people. They were just created completely in CGI to fight each other, and it wasn't great, but it was good. And so then comparatively, it was great. Because it was just like such a rough show. Um, let's see. Again, it is trying to handle big issues that it certainly has no business trying to handle because it is a nonsense show. Um, the UN is portrayed as just being Americans, which is it's not wrong, but it's also very funny in its weird portrayal of people. Very strange portrayal. Um, and then let's see what else I want to say. Uh, oh yeah. At one point, the main character Akira passes his limits. He goes beyond his limits, and they alter the voice actor's voice to kind of show that because they can't really tell it that well. Um, and they put this voice filter on him that makes him sound um, like Christian Bale doing his gruff Batman voice. Like it's supposed to be like, oh no, but instead it's just like, oh no. It's really rough. The whole show is so rough. Um, it is comical. It is not supposed to be. So that is X Arm. Like I said, um, like like literally in episode this is episode 4, and they're trying to be like, who's the real villain? Is she wrong? She was just following orders. She's not. She doesn't have autonomy. She's a machine. And you're like, well, she is. She did commit genocide in the name of her, owner. So yeah, she is the bad guy. There's not. This is not a gray area that you are trying to get through. Weird show. Anyway, it wasn't as wonderfully hilarious. It was actually kind of boring in this last episode. And then some of it was maybe cool. So there's that. That's X Arm. All right, let's jump back and talk about um, Jobless Reincarnation. So this show, as I've said, sometimes, anytime I'm like, I kind of like this character. I'm starting to like this guy. The show reminds me that he is terrible. He's a terrible person. So I appreciate that the show is just so willing to just completely remind me that, like, oh yeah, this guy sucks. Because Rudy sucks. Because he's a deadbeat 40-year-old man reincarnated as a young boy. And he's like, oh, I'm going to get over my crippling fear of the outside world, which is cool. But also, I'm not going to give up the parts of me that are actually toxic and bad, which is not cool. Um, so yeah, kind of all over the place. Plotline wise, this show, I'll give it to you. They also they want to make sure you know that Paul, his dad, is also shitty. Paul is a shitty dude. And I think it's kind of fun that they're like, hey, the parental figure that you would think like is going to, maybe make him better by being around him. Oh, don't think that, because this guy sucks too. Because Rudy's going to have a younger brother or sister. He's also going to have a younger half brother or sister. Is this show with your least liked anime trope, and what's the trope? So this so far does not have my least liked anime trope, which is because my actual least liked anime trope is the tsundere girl. The variation where everyone knows the girl is tsundere, I don't mind. Tsundere is basically generally a bratty character who, because of their own feelings, their overwhelming feelings that they don't know how to deal with, they respond by just being mean, and kind of like, well, I guess I'll let you do that. When it's like, no, you want to hang out. Now, when people know that that character is being tsundere and they just respond to them like, I get what you're doing here. I like that. But I think that character is coming because there is a pink-haired girl in the opening or in the closing animation that we haven't met yet, and I'm imagining that she is tsundere because that is the archetype. Also, main characters that I don't like and don't want to see succeed isn't necessarily a trope. It is a common ground of shows that I am not the most engaged in. I generally want to root for the main character. And when you present to me a main character who fucking sucks, it is a little hard and that the point is he sucks. It's not that like they're doing a bad job of telling the story. Like the point is that he sucks. I'm less inclined. Like there's a lovely moment in this episode where because throughout the whole episode, Rudy is thinking about going to this magical school because he learned from Roxy, the demon woman that came by that trained him, and then he's learned a lot on his own, but he's stagnant, and so he's thinking of going to this magical school, and his best friend Sylphie is like literally freaks out and like grabs him and clutches him and is just like, hey, don't go, don't leave me, and he's like, yeah, why would I leave her? Why would I go and leave her when I can hang out and groom her into my perfect wife? And it's the thing where this was a beautifully touching moment for the show, like an honestly, actually touching moment. And the show was just like, don't forget this guy fucking sucks. He may have said mold instead of groom, but that's the fucking implied thing of it. So yeah, Rudy fucking just... he's garbage, and I hate him. So that's that. Yeah, no, he's totally gross. Because he's 9 or whatever, or 7 or whatever. But he's really 47. So it's like, okay, because he was in his early 40s when he died and was reincarnated. But yeah, he's scummy. And the show is at its best when he's doing something and he forgets to be garbage, so you forget that he's garbage. But it doesn't work out all the time. Okay, so the real plot of this episode was Paul, Rudy's dad, got the maid pregnant. Lilia has always been kind of like wary of Rudy. She's like, something's weird with Rudy. And she's not wrong. But Rudy comes through because he knows that if she leaves with the baby, they're going to die because it's winter when this is going to happen. And also, that's going to be his half brother or half sister. So he's like, no, no, no. I'll figure this out. We're going to make this work. So he basically like puts the blame all on Paul, uh, even though Lilia apparently seduced him. And then we find out later that Lilia is the maid, but she went to school, like sword school, with Paul, and then like he took her virginity, and then he like bounced. And then I don't know how years later she ended up being the maid in the house and doesn't do magic. It didn't go become an adventurer. I don't know that part. But basically, like, Rudy convinces the mom to be like, "Hey, I want to. This is my half brother or half sister. Uh, you know, don't do this. Like, don't kick them out." Uh, so I guess things worked out. I guess I don't know. It was weird. Um, Lily now kind of considers him her savior, which is is okay. The kids are born. We fast forward to the kids being born. There's a boy and a girl. I believe the brother is his full brother and the sister is his half sister, but don't quote me on that. Um, uh, so yeah. Um, Roxy, the person that trained him, is like sends him a letter being like, "Hey, if you feeling stuck, you should think about going to that school." And so Rudy's like, "Okay, I want to go to this school, but I need Sylphie to come with me. That's actually what we're going to do," which is pretty smart. He's like, "Sylphie's going to be freaked out if I leave without her. Sylphie's parents can't afford this school. She's got talent. She's good at doing magic. She can do Castle's magic, which is really rare. All right, maybe Dad can pay for both tuitions." And Dad's just like, "No, no, I'm not going to do that." And then Rudy's like, "Okay, well, compromise." Uh, he's also like, "I don't think you're ready to go anyway." And he's like, "Okay, get me a job, and then I will save all the money I make, and then I will be able to afford to send to pay for Sylphie's tuition," which is a pretty good compromise. And he agrees. Uh, and then a Beast Woman, with the first time we've seen a Beast Woman show up. She's of course not wearing many clothes because this is the progenitor of a lot of isekai. So yeah, she's not wearing clothes, that many clothes. Um, what's her name? Giselane. Uh, and he's gonna go work for Jesselane. And I don't understand this part yet. I think it'll be explained. I'm assuming it'll be explained. Uh, Paul basically knocks Rudy out, and then Rudy wakes up on this transport. And I guess they thought that Rudy wouldn't want to be separated from Sylphie while he did this. I'm not sure why that part had to happen, but he does say something to the effect of like, "Well, you just talked me out of it." So I don't know why, but we do find out that in all his sword training, because we knew Rudy wasn't great at sword, Paul has been incredibly strong, way stronger than him this whole time, which we kind of guessed, but this is confirmation that yeah, uh, yeah. If we thought Rudy was strong at all, he's definitely not strong in the sword. But he's so yeah. Um, I don't know what's happening here. This was unexpected. Do I wish this character had clothes? Yes. Is it cool that she has an eye patch? Fucking hell yeah, it is. It's very cool that she has an eye patch. Uh, so yeah. Again, I'm culturally very interested in the show because it is the uh, modern isekai has this show to thank for all its tropes, good and bad. Um, uh, and so I am interested in seeing where this goes. Uh, it's not my favorite show. It's also beautifully animated. It looks incredible. There has been not a drop of CG, or if it is, it's blended incredibly well. It is just really great digital animation. It looks fantastic. Voice acting is great. It has an opening theme, but it doesn't have an opening video. The opening theme just plays under the opening of the show, which is fantastic. Which you're only seeing these days in ReZero, where ReZero doesn't have like an opening and closing animation; it just goes through. So it does have a closing theme, but it doesn't have an opening theme. So it just starts. The episode starts, and then stuff happens, which I think is really rad. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna keep watching, even though I do think some of it is fucking garbage. And then a show that I'm a little wary of what happened. This is a show that's hard. I have to. This show packs in so much. So suppose a kid from the Last Dungeon Boonies moved to a starter town. Is the name of the show. I always just say suppose a kid because it's too long otherwise. Suppose a kid. Um, they did like an entire arc of an anime, like a 12 episode arc in 4 episodes, like introducing the character, explaining the world, letting people know what the trouble is going to be, making a huge reveal about one of the characters, making a huge reveal about another character, presenting the villain, presenting the real villain, presenting the villain behind the villain who was manipulating the villain. Have a great evil be defeated and the day saved. 4 episodes. So now we're in. Oh, and then have like a fun conclusion of it, which would be the end of a show, which is like, and now here's what this is going to be. And oh, this character's good, and now they're going to do this thing. So all that happened in 4 episodes. And now we're in episode 5. And a lot fucking happens in this episode. So I'll say this right now. 4 characters are introduced in this episode. 4 characters who all seem to be mildly to very important. One of the in the closing theme, there's a lot about one of these characters that we got introduced to today. But a ton of new characters get introduced, and a bunch of story beats happen, and everything is progressing. Like, a character got introduced in a way that I was like, has this character been in the show? Did I miss this character? And as far as I can tell, no. She was introduced in this episode. These are like 20 to 24-minute episodes. They're packed. A lot of stuff happens. There's not much breathing room. The premise of the show, I think, is fantastic. You've got the weakest kid in a village, wants to be a soldier. He wants to be like his hero. So you have Lloyd, cute kid, wants to be a hero. He's the weakest kid in his village. He doesn't realize, at no point this far in has he realized, oh, even if I am the weakest kid in my village, the village is next to the final dungeon. And he's like incredibly overpowered. So that makes me think that the reason why it's paced so quickly and so fast is because they want to get a lot done with it. Like, they're almost afraid of the jokes. Because the big joke in the show is this dude doesn't know that he's super powerful. Like, he has no concept of the fact that he's overpowered. So much so that in the opening of this episode, Chrome and Lloyd and Marie, the witch, they go to this town where there is the holy sword. And apparently, this holy sword, nobody can lift it. Like, it's impossible. It's the sword in the stone. It's in the ground. It is the classic sword in the stone fable. It's the Arthurian legend, right? So they're like, well, no one can lift this. So, and apparently the mayor has been like doing like tourism about it, and like it's annoying. So you can't tell Lloyd, hey Lloyd, go pick up that holy sword, because he's going to be like, oh, I can't do that, because like basically it you need a tremendous amount of mana to do it, which he has, but he doesn't believe in himself. So instead, Marie, who's the only person that really understands how to manipulate him, to get things done, just goes, hey, will you pick up trash in the area, please? And he's like, oh, picking up trash, I can definitely do that. And so he picks up trash, which is he interprets trash as the sword. So he picks up the sword, um, which is very smart and funny because it just like happens out of nowhere, and he just is like, okay, which I really like. I really like that she's aware of how to get things to happen with Lloyd, and how to like phrase things. Because you can't be like, because in the previous episode, she couldn't be like, it's the Demon Lord, Lloyd, punch him. Because he would be like, oh, I can't do that. I'm not strong. Instead, she was like, hey, this guy's drunk. Will you clean him up with your special cloth that has a rune on it, which disenchanted? It basically relieved it disenchanted the guy who was being possessed by the Demon Lord and banished the Demon Lord. And but we like Lloyd doesn't know he did that, which is great. Um, so in this case, he did the thing. It's great. But that's just the very beginning of the episode. In other shows, that would be the whole episode. In this one, it is a 1 second gag, and it's like, okay, that's where the show is. That's what the show is about. Cool. They're in military school along with Rio and Selen. Selen is the tsundere character in this show, who I do not enjoy. I like the idea of her story. I do not like the character. I think it is annoying. But anyway, get the feet together. Let's put some feet together here. Moving on. Let's see. There's going to be an school like battle, like practice battle, just for between the two schools, like a competition, a magic battle, basically. And Lloyd can't do it because he's too strong, and he interprets that as being like, oh, they don't want me to do it. And it's like, yeah, sure, man. But yeah, he's too strong. He doesn't know his own strength. There's no way he can compete. But they're doing that thing, and then meanwhile, Lloyd goes home, and there are two blonde girls who are sisters. They're from that rival area. They are students at that school. And they're looking for Rio, who we know is a mercenary. She's got warrants for stuff. People are trying to get her to go back to her home area. But she's a merc for hire with a missing arm. She's got a missing arm. We don't know anything about it. She's got a mithril arm. So she basically has a robot arm, like a magic robot arm. And we don't know what happened with her. We'll find out. Don't worry. Anyway. Okay, so we're going to see which side goes up. This side goes up. Great. So the two girls are Mina and Philo. The small one is Mina. The tall one is Philo. And Lloyd comes in, and they immediately sense that like someone's really strong, like an imminent threat. And Philo, who is a martial arts user, is just like instantly attacks Lloyd, who no-sells it because he even like she's strong because he hurts one of his ribs, but he's like, yeah, it'll heal in a couple hours because he's really overpowered. So she attacks him, does nothing, and she's instantly like, please make me your apprentice. Please let me stay here and train under you. Like, she instantly understands this dude is rad as hell, and I want to learn from him, which I thought was really fun. It's like instantaneous that she's just like, this dude rules, what's up, let's go, let's make this happen. I thought that was funny. But then in the very next scene, then we find out that the admin of this rival school went to the same orphanage as Riho, and she has been falsifying arrest warrants to try to get Rio back. We get this very sad story of Rio explains what happened, that she only had one arm. She was raised in an orphanage. She only had one arm, and she was given this mithril arm, which saps at her mana, but it will give her a big mana boost. But at the cost of her life, she will be able to remove the Holy Sword, which we know as an audience That holy sword already got picked up. She doesn't know that. So all this is about getting that holy sword, and apparently Rhea Roll has said, hey, I'll hurt the orphanage if you don't do this, and all that. She is the garbage villain. At the end of the episode, she finds out, hey, this is like, she finds out what's happening. That they both basically find out the winner is going to get the sword. That is the prize for doing this. Meanwhile, as I said, that's 3 characters that have been introduced. Someone from Rio's past, so check. 2 characters, one of whom we know nothing about, the other whom is a martial artist that wants to be trained. There's another character that got introduced, and her name is, gotta look this up, Mikona. Mikona hates Lloyd for some reason, and we don't know at first why she hates him, but she's basically like, she doesn't understand, she can't acknowledge that he's strong, and she doesn't want his help when she gets hurt, because she's just like, you just lean on other people and use other people, and he's just like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. That's already part of his own deal, is he does believe that about himself. But we know that that's not true. And then we find out why. Because she is in love with Mari, who lives with Lloyd and clearly likes Lloyd, because every girl in the show, with the exception of perhaps their instructor in the school, I don't think has feelings for Lloyd, and this girl doesn't have feelings for Lloyd. She's got feelings for Marie. So, now maybe you can start to understand why I am a little worried. Because a woman who does not like Lloyd is getting mad at Lloyd because she considers him her rival in love. So we have on our hands a queer villain. And my assumption is she's about to be used, because the very last scene is her talking with Shoma, who is the guy that he's just got I'm the actual last boss vibe to him. He is from Lloyd's village, but he's just got this sense, like, why is he hanging out? Why did he appear? Why is he talking to Kona? I have to imagine he's going to encourage her to, like, fight Lloyd. I just get the sense, so I am making assumptions here. What I can tell you is, this is what I know about the show. We have been introduced to a queer character who is hurt and mad and is going to be misled. Is she actually going to be a tragic queer character? I can't tell you. Will this show fix it and make sense of it? Probably. Maybe. Did this show need to introduce 4 new characters in one episode? Absolutely not. It did not 100% need to introduce 4 characters. If this episode had been dedicated to just Rio's past, it would have been awesome, because she is a major character in the show, and I would much rather have her. There's stuff that happened in this episode I didn't even mention. As I said, this is like a 24-minute show. There was a whole subplot of them learning healing magic, and to learn healing magic, they were beating up the guy Alan so that they could then heal him. Lloyd asks Riho out on a date to try to figure out what's going on with her. That's why she gives the story, and she thought it was a real date. There was a moment where the advice to go on a date was the advice that Mari gave to him, because she thought that Lloyd was trying to make her feel better, so that is what she wanted, not what she thought that Riho wanted. There's a lot that happened in this episode that I have not even, that I had to just kind of skip through. I am really afraid that this show is going to throw in a tragic queer character, which sucks, because there's so few in fantasy anime. There's so few queer characters. The fact that this show in the 5th episode is like, hey, there's a character. She's in love with another lady. That's going to be a thing. Like, I'm so afraid that it is going to be a tragic queer character. which I do not fucking need in my anime. If she gets rejected, she gets rejected. That's life. That's love. Whatever. But if she is fueled by her jealousy of Lloyd to become evil, uh, that fucking sucks, and it's shit. Um, we are done with our core. This is the core unit. We have to put all the cool armor on it, but we can build the weapons that go on it right now, which we'll do as we kind of. We're not ready to wrap up, but we're getting there. Anyway, I'm a little annoyed by the show. I'm a little worried about the show. I am interested to see where it goes. I am hopeful that it's still fun. It's just such a fun premise. Why is this trend in fantasy anime? Is it like a gatekeeping going on or homophobia? So, there is certainly homophobia and a misunderstanding in Japanese culture and anime of queer relationships. Uh, Often, queer relationships in those shows are all subtext. There are shows that are about women loving other women and men loving other men. Um, it is a trope in anime because the tragic queer villain is a trope, period, in media. The characters become evil because of their love. And often that love is, because it is forbidden, that is a justification for why they become evil. I mean, popular culture. Willow, her lover dies, and then Willow becomes evil. She happens to be a tragic queer character, queer villain. That's in Buffy, the Vampire Slayer. But in lots of media, unfortunately, there are that is happens in many types of media, and anime is no exception. Black Clover did this last year with its characters that it wasn't bad enough that they were just characters in a anime only storyline. They were just filler villains that we'll never see or hear from again. But in the end, they were like, and also they like each other, and you're like, cool. This show has no gay characters. What the fuck? It has one gay character. All right, sorry, it is one. Soul is definitely in love with Charlotte, but that is also played for laughs. So I don't know how much I can put that into consideration. So this gun is going to get its own armor soon, but right now it's just got its gun there, and then we'll put together the very cool beam, and we can start getting a little bit of the Rize machines together. So yeah, so unfortunately, it's not necessarily a trend. It's just a trend in general. It is just a trope in pop culture, to in fiction to have the tragic queer characters. Unfortunately. All right, so we take this out here. This is we've got just the beam here. Just put the beam. But why do the beam when you can do the beam whip? Yeah, beam whip. The beam whip. It's nonsense. I love it so much. Got that weird beam whip. And that is our core. And then we got to put a bunch of armor on it. So we'll just take a photo of that now. And then we'll kind of sort through the other stuff here. But let me get a photo. I'm going to do this so that I can do. Yeah. All right, so we got the little core, and then we're going to have to put all the armor on top, build all the armor, and then add the armor on top. But we can take this off here and put this here for now. And we'll get ready for it. But yeah, so we got to do all the Rize parts. It's all the cool armor, the white and yellow armor that you see on the kit there. And it'll snap on. It'll snap on here. It'll snap on the shoulders. There'll be something that goes on the head. There'll be something that goes on the chest. The arms, the legs. Basically, these are going to bend like this and dig in there, I believe. Yeah. So, and then we can build it out. But yeah, core unit, much smaller than a normal high grade because it's got to have all the armor, and then it's the size of a normal high grade with all the armor. Um, so let's just get two of these together. We'll get a little bit of this done here. Can't wait to do these clear parts. That's coming soon, and yeah, and these feet that go on and all that. We can get some of this ready to go here. I mean, as a kit itself, it's cute. It's not certainly, I wouldn't necessarily, if it was just this without the armor, I wouldn't have picked it up because it doesn't really speak to me that way. But it is a cool looking kit with it, so with all the extra stuff. So we'll do that. But I do like that you build the whole thing first and then you add in all of the other stuff on top of it. I do like you completely do the core. That is neat. I think it would be a bummer if you did it. If you just did it like built it out, we just like, oh, we're doing the arms. Now we're doing the armor for the arms. The extra armor. Like, no, this is cool. You kind of transform it. All right, so we'll do that. We'll do that, and then C2s and E1 and E2. Okay. This kit's coming together real easy. This is a very straightforward kit. There has been nothing confusing about it. Maybe like how the chest came together, I took a second to look at, but that has been no problems. So, if you're looking for an easy high grade, if you're not used to the 144 scale, this might be a good place to start. Yeah, if you wanted to get something like this. This is based on a manga, which is a side series from Gundam Build Divers. This is Build Divers Rize. I can't really tell you much of anything about this except for that it's a manga only. The main character is an L something or other, L unit, something like that. He's basically artificial intelligence. He's like an NPC in this virtual world that can like pilot Gundams and has like autonomy, and it is a rare thing that they're like not sure what's up about, and so then he ends up making a cool Gundam and piloting it. That is my understanding. I have not read the manga. I can only tell you that from my limited understanding of what the fucking deal is. But yeah, that is what I understand. From what I understand, that is the deal. All right, so this goes there. This goes there. This goes like this, and then do the same thing on this side. We are going to end this stream with a raid, as we always do. So we will go find someone awesome who is doing something on a Monday night, check in with them, see what they're up to, hang out there. So feel free to come along on that raid when that happens in a couple minutes, because that's always more fun with people. And my next stream, as I said, is Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. It is a Hearthstone stream. It is going to be my weekly bonus stream. And this week, I'm going to be playing some Hearthstone. It'll be my first stream since the mini expansion came out. I got a couple new decks. Also, because it'll only be a couple days into the month, my rank is very low. So let's try to get some wins with our new decks. One of which I know isn't great, but it's the Grand Summoner. It's a Spiteful Summoner deck, which I really like. But this time it's a Hunter version, and it has some tricks that I enjoy. So I might do that, and then let's see. Yeah, so I got that, and then I have I'm going to try out a new Hunter deck, which I still haven't finished building. That's going to be my job tomorrow, is to build this deck, try to get into battle shape, and then get ready to stream it. All right, so we got to put stickers on this, and then put stickers, and then the sheet over it. So we'll get to panel lining these pieces, and then putting cool stickers on it. These cool stickers go on there, and then we will put very cool clear pieces over it, and then we'll panel line before we do that, and then we'll put the clear pieces over. That's going to be rad, and that is going to be on our next stream. So I'm going to go find someone cool for us to raid. So just hang out very briefly. So we go find somebody awesome to go hang out with. Let's see who is doing cool things on the internet here. Who's streaming that I like? Mary Kish is playing Yakuza. Hell yeah, we're going to go hang out with Mary Kish as she plays Yakuza. She's playing Yakuza 0. That's awesome. We're going to go hang out with Mary Kish as she plays Yakuza 0. Because that's great. We got to go raid Mary. So that's what we're going to go do. We're going to go raid Mary Kish. She rules. Have a good night, Lord Crash, and thanks for being here. Feel free to come along on this raid. As I said, we are going to go hang out with Mary, who is awesome. And she's playing Yakuza 0, which is a fantastic game. Yes, well, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here for the parasocial chat. I will see you in the next Build with Baer. I hope you had a lovely evening. Feel free to come along on Wednesday for my Hearthstone stream or Thursday as we continue on this kit. I'll see you the next time. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye.